Naminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade Paschatya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the chapter is Puranjana becomes a woman in next life. Yeah, somebody has unmuted. It would be helpful if devotees can be muted. Yeah, okay, thank you. The most important aspect of Krishna consciousness or human life as such, what is it that we are going to be next? Next in the sense after we with this body. So Narada Muni very mercifully trying to explain to King Prashchinabarhi said about what exactly is the consequences of attachment to this material world. Okay. So in that we go text 11. Actually, the purports are very small. So
Hare Krishna. Mataji, text 11, 4.28.11, Mataji. Sharing the screen, Chandrika Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, sorry.
Hare Krishna, no problem. Mataji, you want us to read the verse, the
shloka translation, and then the purport also. There's small purports, so we hardly get to read the purports. I will tell 11 we can read.
Okay.
Let's see about
Do we want to first finish reading the purports and translation verses and then you will explain, or do we stop after each?
We will try to do after each verse.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Meenakshi Mataji, you can read the verse and the translation, and Vrishabhanu Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Vayanamno grajo pratha prajvaraha pratyupashtitaha dadaha tampurim Krishnam Bhrato Priya Chikirshaya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Translation, somebody else is reading?
Yes, I am reading Mataji. Under the circumstances, the elder brother of Yavana Raja, known as Prajvara, set fire to the city to please his younger brother, whose other name is fear itself. Hare
Krishna, Parpat, Paraprabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to the Vedic system, a dead body to set on fire, but before death there is another fire or fever, which is called Prajvara or Vishnu Jwara. Medical science verifies that when one's temperature is raised to 107 degree, a man immediately dies. This Prajvara or high fever at the last stage of life plays the living entry in the midst of a blazing fire. Hare Krishna.
Actually, we'll read the 12th shloka, translation purport, and then some we can share a few things.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Shanti Mataji, you read the verse and the translation. Mataji, not purport for this one?
We can read the purport also.
Okay. Okay. Suma Mataji, you read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tasyam sandahyamanayaam saubharassa parichitaha kaudumbiga kudumbinya upadapyata sadvayaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mataji, let it scroll up. When the city was set ablaze, all the citizens and servants of the king, as well as all family members, sons, grandsons, wives, and other relatives were within the fire. King Puranjana thus became very unhappy. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, and pranams. A purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are many parts of the body, the senses, the limbs, the skin, the muscles, blood, marrow, etc. And all these are considered here figuratively as sons, grandsons, citizens, and dependents. When the body is attacked by the Vishnu Jwara, the fiery condition becomes so acute that sometimes one remains in a coma. This means that the body is in such severe pain that one becomes unconscious and cannot feel the miseries taking place within the body. Indeed, the living entity becomes so helpless at the time of death that although unwilling, he is forced to give up the body and enter another. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that may man may be by scientific advancement improve the temporary living conditions, but that he cannot avoid the pangs of birth, old age, disease, and death. These are under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the agency of material nature. A foolish person cannot understand this simple fact. Now, people are very busy trying to find petroleum in the midst of the ocean. They are very anxious to make provisions for the future petroleum supply, but they do not make any attempts to ameliorate the conditions of birth, old age, disease, and death. Thus, a person is in ignorance, not knowing anything about his own future life, is certainly defeated in all his activities. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So actually, although many a times, many speakers and many lectures that we listen, Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita we read, the main aspect is the art of dying. I mean, we have art of living, but Krishna consciousness is art of dying. Along with that, Prachvara in the 11th verse, the translation says, whose other name is fear itself. Prajvara set fire to the city to please his younger brother, whose other name is fear itself. Now, fear. Fear of what? Fear of unknown. Fear of what will happen. Fear of leaving the comforts that we are already in. I think that is the most fearful thing. Or fear of pain, right? So all this is acceptable. I mean, as human beings, we do naturally have these feelings. But now, see, that is what I should say. It is common for common people, right? But then now, as we are trying to be devotees, we should have something different, or our perspective should be different. So I had read this narration about death of Vyasadeva's grandfather. I'm going to read it again. Please listen to it carefully. This is from His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj, the final call, death. Okay. So the death of, before that, Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham. Among the hara is what? To take away. I'm the most powerful thing amongst what is taken away. Because many people can take many things away. But Krishna takes away our identity only. I mean, the body only is not there. Okay. So, first of all, we have to understand death is, Krishna is saying it is himself. So that's first point. First point for us to not fear. Will we be fearful if Krishna is coming in front of us? No. So death is another form of Krishna. So the following story is an important illustration of how death cannot be avoided. The death of Vyasadeva's grandfather. Whom are we talking about? Vyasadeva's grandfather. Once, Srila Vyasadeva's grandfather approached him and requested, "My dear grandson, I am very afraid of death. I do not want to die. Kindly make some arrangement for me so that I will not die." Srila Vyasadeva replied, "My dear grandfather, how is it possible that you will not die? Everybody who has taken birth must die. This is the universal truth. I have never heard of one who does not die. You are requesting of me something which is not possible. his grandfather insisted, "My dear grandson, you are an incarnation of God. You can do anything. There is nothing which is impossible for you. Please grant my request. At least you can try approaching Yamaraja and ask him not to punish me with death." Having been forced by his grandfather in this way, Srila Vyasdeva took him to Yamaraja. Vyasdeva spoke, "O Yamaraja, I have come to you with my grandfather to request something on his behalf. My grandfather does not wish to die, and he is very afraid of death. As you are the destination of the living entities who die, I humbly request that you relieve him of the burden of death. If at all you are able to help in this regard, please grant me this favor." Yamaraja replied, "Yes, it's true that all living entities come to me after death, but I am not controller of death. I only judge their activities and reward them according to their karma. I cannot stop his death." Srila Vyasdeva inquired, "Then who is the controller of death?" Yamaraja answered, "Mahakala Purusha is the controller of death. If you go to him, he may be able to help you achieve your goal." Hearing this, Srila Vyasdeva prepared to meet Mahakala Purusha. Before leaving, Vyasdeva's grandfather approached Yamaraja and requested him. Vyasdeva's grandfather himself approached Yamaraja and requested him to accompany them so that he might advise Mahakala Purusha to stop his death. Yamaraja, out of respect for Vyasadeva, agreed. When they reached the abode of Mahakala Purusha, Vyasadeva explained the reason for coming. He said, "Oh Mahakala Purusha, you are the controller of death. Due to great fear of death, my grandfather does not want to die. Please be kind enough to stop his death." Mahakala Purusha said, "Yes, I am controller of death, but I do not know for what exactly your grandfather is destined, and I arrange things according to the destination of the living entities. Please go to Chitragupta. He has all the records of your grandfather. Please go there and find out what your grandfather is destined for." Before starting out for their meeting with Chitragupta, Vyasadeva's grandfather asked Mahakala Purusha to join Yamaraja, Vyasadeva and himself. Thus, the four of them proceeded to Chitragupta's office. Vyasadeva approached Chitragupta, humbly requesting him to find out about death of his grandfather. Chitragupta, at the request of Vyasadeva, checked the file and informed the visitors that according to record of Vyasadeva's grandfather, he was not destined to die. Everybody was happy and relieved to hear this news, as they all had come there with the intention of stopping the death of the grandfather. While they were all busy expressing their happiness, Chitragupta exclaimed, wait a minute. Actually, the record says that Vyasadeva's grandfather will avoid death in this life as long as he does not meet Vyasadeva, Yamaraja, Mahakala Purusha together. Whenever these three personalities come together in his presence, he is sure to die. Before Chitragupta could finish his sentence, the grandfather fell dead on the spot. We can see from this narration how grandfather of Srila Vyasdeva met so many endeavors just to meet death, although he did not want to die. His intention was to avoid death, but his efforts only served to lead him more swiftly to his demise. Although he was not scheduled to die, he went to so much trouble to make sure that exactly those three personalities would gather together in his presence, thus unwittingly causing his own death. So you see, I narrated this for us to ingrain in ourselves the certainty of death. Okay, we were talking about Vyasadeva's grandfather, right? Who could not escape death. In fact, he took he took all the people along with him to die. Whereas he was thinking he will get help for not dying. Okay, so now that we are fixed as sure as death, so there's no point in trying to lament, fear, worry, okay, about death itself as such. But actually, what is it that should worry us? We should have fear, we should worry. What is it that I'm going to do at the time of death? Will I be able to remember Krishna? That should be our worry rather than death itself. So now in these two shlokas, they are talking about Prajvara, set fire to the city to please his younger brother, okay, which is known as fear itself. This Prajvara or high fever at the last stage of life places the living entities in midst of blazing fire. Samsara davanalidalu Tronaya karunya ganatvam. We are supposed to start our day with this blazing fire. Actually, in one lecture, one Prabhu, I don't remember the name, very beautifully said, for people to understand that we are in misery, we don't need spirituality as such, right? Day in, day out is enough. I mean, the daily life is enough for us to understand what miserable condition every day we are in, right? It's another matter. Some days misery is less and we think we are happy. That is another matter. But actually, miseries are there. Adhyatmika, Adidevika, Adibhautika. From any one of these. And then we have to, inevitably we have to go through that. So, Srila Prabhupada, very graphically, it's a stool. This material world, it is like stool, whether dry or wet, upside or inside. Stool is stool. This material world is like that. Okay, that is what see. We sound very what I can say. I mean, very harsh to hear, or we may feel very disgusting to hear it. But then, what is disgusting about true facts? Fact is a fact, right? So, and in the next shloka, when the body is attacked by Vishnu Jvara, this is another type of fever that Srila Prabhupada is talking, and how the pain is so much, the pain is so intolerable that a person goes to coma. In the sense, what is coma? The body is completely numbed. Like, when we are operated, they numb the body with anesthesia so that the pain is not felt. So coma is natural anesthesia. The pain is so high that a person goes to to coma, so that that pain is not felt. But in spite of all these things, two things that we are. One thing is we try to wriggle ourselves out of whatever situation and try to be happy, comfortable in the present scenario. Unfortunately, we are, in any situation, like even if we look at people who are struggling with so many diseases, in the sense, whether old age or young age, whatever, young age at least, they have a life ahead. But even at old age, people, struggle, take others' help, want to attend functions, and then want to go around, right? Uh, and and what is it that why is it they want to do all this? To keep their mind away from the current troublesome situation. But then, like how this body itself is temporary, the taking our mind away from that our troublesome situation to some temporary thing, it would not help, because ultimately we will again come back, maybe after we took people's help, went here and there, and then we come back, we're still in the same, back to square one, in the same troublesome situation. So, what is Viveka, or what is actually true intelligence, or what is true wisdom? Instead of trying to shift our focus from one temporary thing, our body, our miseries, to another temporary thing, to keep our mind away from the present painful, stressful situation, the real wisdom would be to shift our focus to the permanent thing and what we are actually supposed to do, right? So, and what is that? That is on the platform of the soul and the super soul and the Lord and his devotees. So this, I mean, we may think we are hearing this every day. Why is it being hammered so much time and again? Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, lectures, speakers, everybody are talking about this. At least I'm talking more so for myself. Okay. To make it ingrain in myself that death is, first is it's inevitable, and other aspect is I don't know when. So if I'm really looking for some solution for the stressful situations of the material world, then the only solution is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare. Okay. So that is one aspect. And then in Bhagavad Gita and even in this shloka, Prabhupada talks about people are very anxious making provisions for future petroleum supply. And do not make any attempts to ameliorate conditions of birth, death, old age, disease. And talks about a scientist or scientific advancement also. So Prabhupada gave this very, I mean, these two examples time and again. One was about a common person, a pandit or a pandit. We can kind of translate that to scientist or whatever. Wanted to cross a river, and the boatman is an illiterate, a simple person. So now this pandit or scientist is feeling very proud of his education. Says he when they are rowing, he asks the boatman, "Do you know physics?" He says, "No." He says, "25% of your life is waste." Then he goes, "Do you know biology? Do you know social studies? This." And suddenly there is a storm, and the boat starts rocking. And then it's the turn of the boatman to ask. See, there itself, life is a full circle. What you do comes back to you. In that small incident, only what Prabhupada said is done. So the boatman says, Panditji, do you know how to swim? He says, no. Then he jumps off the boat and he says, your 100% of life is waste. Okay. So, such a hard fact of life to understand that simple things are missed away in trying to complicate our lives. Simple things are missed away. Which, it's not that we should not study biology, physics, or we should not try to be scientists. That's not the point here. Be anything anybody wants, but don't forget Krishna. Shastra says, always remember Krishna, do not forget Krishna. Okay. The baseline is that, not that we don't want to educate ourselves in whatever aspect we want. That other story of a donkey and one big pole and grass is tied, and then the donkey carries what kind of burden it carries. Just for that grass which is there all around, right? So that donkey, Prabhupada says, we are all that donkeys, that the Lord has given everything, and just for some temporary pleasures, working like donkeys, carrying unnecessary burden of everything, right? So while the examples may look, very familiar and simple, but it has the most powerful message for us, because first of all, it's coming from Srila Prabhupada, and the next aspect that it should strike us is, even with such simple example, we're still trying to wriggle out our lives, right? So, what to talk of other complicated things, right? So, we'll read the 13th shloka, 13th and 14th. We can read shloka. What's the time? Yeah, we can
Hare
read
Krishna.
we
The
can
puppet
read.
also, Mataji?
Yeah, we are at 10, so we can read the purport also.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Sudha Mataji, you can read the verse and the translation. Banali Mataji, the purport for the 13th shloka. And for 14th shloka, Sumarangala Mataji, the verse, translation, and purport, all three. Hare Krishna. Okay, Archana Mataji, you can do the 14th shloka, the verse, translation, and Sharmila Mataji, the purport. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडक प्रणाम यावनोपारुधयात् यतनो ग्रस्तायां कालकन्यया पूर्यां प्रज्वार संसृता पुरपालो अन्वतप्यता. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The city's superintendent of police, the serpent, saw that the citizens were being attacked by Kala Kanya, and he became very aggrieved to see his own residence set ablaze after being attacked by the Yavanas. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The living entity is covered by two different types of bodies, the gross body and a subtle body. At death, we can see that the gross body is finished, but actually the living entity is carried by the subtle body to another gross body. So the so-called scientists of the modern age cannot see how the subtle body is working in carrying the soul from one body to another. This subtle body has been figuratively described as a serpent or the city's police superintendent. When there is fire everywhere, the police superintendent cannot escape either. When there is security and an absence of the fire in the city, the police superintendent can impose his authority upon the citizens. But when there is an all-out attack on the city, he is rendered useless. As the life air was ready to leave the gross body, the subtle body also began to experience pain. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you, Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Krishna. Yeah, Shloka.
Hare Krishna, Pranams Mataji. नशेकेशो अविदुं तत्र पुरो कृच्छ्रोरु वेपदो गन्धुमैच्छा तदो वृक्षा कोढरात् इव सानलात्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. As a serpent living within the cavity of a tree wishes to leave when there is a forest fire, so the city's police superintendent, the snake, wished to leave the city due to the fire's severe heat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. It becomes very difficult for snakes to leave a forest when there is a fire. Other animals may flee due to their long legs, but serpents, only being able to crawl, are generally burnt in the fire. At the last stage, the limbs of the body are not as much affected as the life air. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. uh, so now the Jwara is in force, and now we are talking about Kalakanya. Kalakanya. See, first of all, somebody is weak, that is old age, weak. And on top of it, usually somebody, I mean, the general understanding is we will not attack somebody who is weak. But Krishna has his own plans. Okay, old age itself is weakness, and then on top of it, there are attacks from other things. The limbs don't work, then diseases, everything in full force, right? So there is no escape. And what is the other thing about gross and subtle body? So now, with the example that we saw and the story that we saw, mm, the gross body is anyway going to be burnt, or it is going to die. It is going to be destroyed. So now we have something about the subtle body. Here it is that subtle body, the death carries the soul from this body to the other body. So another wise thing would be to focus on our subtle body. focus on our subtle body in the sense, may more so the mind. Actually, physically, you see, this is a very perfect example. Physically, all of us are somewhere, right? Each of us may be in the same town, same city, different country, whatever. But where are all we now actually? We are in this Srimad Bhagavatam class. Why? Because our mind is trying to be here. So actually, wherever our mind is, we are actually there. We have experienced this. Best thing is as students, बेचारे वो लेक्चर्स देते रहते हैं, मतलब the lecturers are giving lecture, आंख भी खुला है, पता नहीं कहाँ है. We don't know where we are, right? So work on the subtle body, work on the mind. And what work on the mind is, we should be very clear among the senses and the mind. Don't think I can sit and control Krishna because he's saying he's the mind. Just mm, do the activity every day that there is nothing other than Krishna, there can be nothing other than Krishna in the mind. Easier said than done. It's very easy to sit and talk here, but anyway, at least I have to say it. Yeah, I'm seeking all your praise that I'm able to do that. Okay. Uh, then, but at least this has been my experience. Okay. Yeah, for the 3 day, there was a Bhagavad Gita session, 3 chapters, 3 days. So I was preparing for that. Little intensely, I was preparing, listening to lectures for that 1 hour gist of chapter 10, 11, 12. Okay, and so I was in a day listening to more number of lectures than the usual because it was continuously 3 days. Believe it or not, I said I have listened to too many lectures. I'm myself too much in Sattva. I need something else. It's that stubborn the mind is. Although, we read, we hear, to forget Shuddha Sattva, to keep ourselves in the Sattva platform itself needs so much of beating of the mind. That itself is such a difficult thing. So, yeah, so increase, of course, it is not impossible. So, if we are able to keep our mind in the so called Sattva stage for some time now, so increase that jwara every day. Increase the percentage of time that I can be in Krishna consciousness with full absorption. Okay, that's another aspect. I had some seva in the temple. Now, actually, when reading was happening, I'm continuously getting calls. So I had to make a message, right? I had to tell a message. I'm in a class. I will get back to you on the whatever seva I had to do. So I was not absorbed when purport was being read. So there is a difference. We have to be absorbed. Otherwise, it's not going to serve the purpose. So, and it is difficult also, especially more so during the end of the life, because nothing works. And then, irrespective of all that we are hearing, there is going to be fear, there is going to be fear of uncertainty, fear of leaving the body, fear of leaving and physical pain itself at time of death, 40,000 scorpions trying to, that is the pain. Then, like how we had discussed earlier, I don't know how many of you remember, what is that pain? That whatever, how many things I am attached to, people, things, if I count that, then 40,000 things will be a smaller number. If when I'm alive, I am able to keep myself detached. I don't mean throw out whatever we have. I meant, we should be in a position, अगर है अच्छा है, नहीं है तो बहुत अच्छा है. Think of something very close to us. It can be people, it can be vastu. It can be anything. What is my reaction if reaction if I lose it. Okay, how much? So that will that way I will understand how much is my attachment. Okay. So His Holiness Bhakti Pracharak Maharaj very nicely said, the Shat Goswamis were very intelligent. They had only coping and they lived under below a tree. So there was no pain when they died because they were already, they had given up everything. Right? Just one coping and one kamandalu. If somebody gave them something, they ate, otherwise. And so much so, every third day they shifted from another tree to sleep because they were thinking, I will get attached to this tree. Okay. So, so he was saying, they were very intelligent when they were, when the soul was in the body, present body. And then here, of course, it talks about snakes, how it is difficult to leave the fire during forest fire because they don't have legs. So, I mean, cavity of a tree. So that it is indicating for us, like when there is real danger of death, our actual examination, how difficult it will be for us to for us to get out of this body. Also, another thing we have to understand is Maya also in many ways. This first of all, it is avaranatmika. Even if we want to try to be Krishna conscious, first of all, it will avarana means what? It will drown us, saying, no, it's okay, for today you can do this, okay. And then that prakshetvatmika also it says, then, it will lure us into the so-called temporary material happiness. Okay, this is Maya's work. So that's how Srila Prabhupada said, we should always pray to Krishna that we should be away from Maya. That should be our main prayer. That when we are alive, we are trying to follow the bhakti process, that we must be very, very careful and always alert how Maya can take away. Somehow it can take away. That Narad Muni's story is very interesting. Narad Muni goes to Narayana and he says, I want to know how your Maya works. Very dangerous question. Even that Rishi, he says he sees that Patrashai,
Markandeya.
Markandeya Rishi also. He says, so Narada Muni and Narayana, they are going. And then suddenly Narayana feels thirsty. And tells Narada Muni, imagine in Vaikunta, Narada feeling thirsty. Okay. So they come at a square, at a place, where there are two roads. Then Narayana says, you go see if you can get some water. He goes there, Narada Muni goes there. And then he sees a person, then he says, come home, I will give you water. The daughter serves very nicely. And then the man asks, will you marry my daughter? Because Narada Muni seemed to be interested. He gets married and he gets children and all that. And then suddenly once one of the child is drowning, and so because the child was drowning, the wife is also drowning. And then he says, I will save the wife because she can get more children and things like that. And then he's completely lost. And then water, and he comes back where, I'm cutting short the story. He comes back where Narayana is waiting for him. He says, Narada Muni, where were you? I'm waiting here for water. And then Narada Muni comes out of that illusion. So that's how Maya works. We never know. Krishna is using Markandeya Rishi, Narada Muni, not that they are under Maya. They are using, Krishna uses such powerful examples, Brahma, Shiva, everybody, to make us understand if the Maya can attack them, then what are we? Right? So we must be on our toes to always hold Srila Prabhupada's dhoti and keep praying, Prabhupada, keep me away from Maya, keep me always with you. Okay. So we'll read the last shloka for the day. Shloka 15.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I'll read devotees. You can raise your hands. I'll read the shloka till such time. शिथिलावयवो यर्हि गन्धर्वैर्हत पौरुषः यवनैररिभिः राजन्नूनुपरुद्धो वृरोदः. Krishnamurti Prabhuji, you can read the translation. Mataji, do we need the purport?
We are on 10:20. I know, I don't think we'll read the purport.
Sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Krishnamurti Prabhuji, read the translation, please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pranams Mataji. Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. The limbs of the serpent's body were slackened by the Gandharvas and Yavanas soldiers, who had thoroughly defeated his bodily strength. When he attempted to leave the body, he was checked by his enemies. Being thus baffled in this attempt, he began to cry loudly. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Actually, in the purport, Prabhupada says, thus the living entity cannot clearly express his difficulties, and surrounding relatives hear the sound gura gura from a dying man. Believe me, in a very close circumstance, I mean, what I read here, okay, I have literally seen it for a year. Actually, my father-in-law was bedridden before he passed away for almost a year. Okay, and all that I read was actually seen. You know how the living entity wants to say something, is not able to say. I mean, and then is disillusioned, then thinking of the past, and then saying so many things, and literally making this sound. The throat is full of kapha, and you want to eat, and then you cannot eat. You want to get up, and then I've literally seen this. We have we in Prabhu have literally seen this, and it is not just actually. It is one good thing. People think it is nice to be away, independent, away from elders and other things. But one thing is, it's our duty to take care of elders. Of course, not just duty, our love also. Other thing is, one really becomes detached during these circumstances. The person who's taking care really becomes detached. It was like, Bhagavatam, whatever about at the end of life, all this kapha, vata, pitta, you literally see. We literally saw, right? And then even if you want to read anything, chant, it's just not possible. It is not possible. I mean, at least that's what we saw. I'm not saying it is not possible for everybody. So that is why this Mukundamala Stotra, it is good to read every day. I mean, what does it say? Krishna Tadiya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam Advaime Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prana Prayane Same Kafavata Pitthe Kantavarodhana Vidau Smaran Kutaste. My dear Krishna, please help me die immediately so that the swan of my mind may be enriched by the stem of your lotus feet. Otherwise, at the time of final breath, when my throat is choked up, how will it be possible for me to think of you? Right? So, here, King Kulashekara is giving such a profound message actually as devotees. It says, when I'm healthy, take me away. But Prabhupada's mood and Acharya's mood is different. I mean, we not in the mood of taking ourselves away from this material world, but the more essence is preaching. Will you do the preaching and then not worry about the other things as much. But of course, this is also true. Prabhupada himself is quoting here. This is also true, right? So that is why make our chitta or subconscious Krishna conscious. Now it is whatever conscious, money conscious, body conscious, world, what is happening conscious, which party is going to win conscious, whatever conscious it is. Why the subconscious? Because if that is trained, then actually we become Krishna conscious. And how does that happen? With deep absorption. We all have experienced, there are certain things in life that when we do that we really like, right? We don't bother about time, pain, money, resources, whether anybody is helping us, whether I'm able to do it. But if we really like it, we will go beyond all our abilities, capacities, and do it. So that thing has to happen with Krishna consciousness. That is how it should be. The best example I would give is about a mother. If she is really not well, she has a small baby, science has proven that she will, especially if it's an infant, the mother very quickly recovers from her whatever cough, colds, fever, everything, because the child is completely dependent on her. So our absorption has to be like that in Krishna. So that is when we will be able to remember Krishna, or at least we have followed instructions. Okay, I don't know. I don't want to make that statement that we will be able to remember Krishna at the end of our lives. I'm authority to say that. But at least we have followed instructions, and for following instructions, we have paved the way for mercy for the parampara up to Krishna. So with that hope, okay, this canto of Bhagavatam, this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about how, it's giving a glimpse of what is it at the final examination. Okay, what is it, the scenario that is going to be, and what is it that we have to do. Okay, so with that, just before I end, there is a lot of what I can say, negative things. So I will close with a quote which is very heartening and very sweet, because Krishna is sweet. Okay, I'll remember my devotee at the time of his death. Varaha Purana. Yedi vatadi doshena mad bhakto mam na chasmaret. Aham smarami mad bhaktam nayami paramam gatem. If my devotee is not able to remember me at the time of his death because of great disturbances felt within the body at that time, then I shall remember my devotee and take him back to spiritual world. Quoted by Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan in his commentary on text 88 of Vishnu Sahasranama, translated into English by Kusha Krita Das, the Krishna Library, Kalvar City, CA. Okay, so with that, I humbly requesting all of you to pray for me that whatever I spoke today, that I must be able to at least follow some percentage of it. And if that happens, all glories to all your prayers. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Mataji. Pray for us also, no, for our spiritual progress.
Hare Krishna. Sure, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, really, I have no appropriate English word. My question is in Kannada, please.
Okay.
Mataji, ईश्वरः परमः कृष्णः सच्चिदानन्दविग्रहः अनादिरादिर्गोविन्दः सर्वकारणकारणम् ಈಗ ದೇಹ ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮಾತಾಜಿ?
ಇದು ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅಲ್ಲ ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಓಕೆ, ಸಾರಿ, ಐ ವೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟು ಕನ್ನಡ. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ. ಪ್ರಭು's question is, he ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಹಿತ ಶ್ಲೋಕ, ಈಶ್ವರ ಪರಮ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ವಿಗ್ರಹ ಅನಾದಿರಾದಿರ್ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಸರ್ವ ಕಾರಣ ಕಾರಣಂ. I mean, he's saying Krishna is the supreme controller. Okay, so Prabhu's question is, how are we going to remember Krishna or take the Lord's name at the end of one's life? So in that sense, I was telling him how it is going to happen. I am giving class, not Krishna. This question should be to Krishna. Krishna can answer this. Okay. Anyway, jokes apart. Prabhu, my answer, quoting all the acharyas, especially Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Prabhupada says, do what is instructed. Krishna has instructed in the scriptures, and Prabhupada and Acharyas have said, just chant. Prabhupada, in fact, has been so merciful, chant 16 rounds and have prasadam only. I will take you back home, back to Godhead, Srila Prabhupada has said. So we will do our part. We will follow instructions and do our part. How I am going to remember, what I am going to do, I mean, it's as good as trying to say it's like me asking you a question, Prabhu, when I'm going to leave my body. Nobody knows that. How for each person, each individual, according to karma, circumstances, that only Krishna knows, Prabhu. All I can say is chant and be happy. Chant and eat prasadam and be happy. Don't worry about anything else. Okay.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, if you are with your
Hare
family.
Krishna Mataji, requesting you to raise your hand because there are raised hands with devotees. So I'm so sorry, Mataji.
Okay, no problem, Mataji.
Yeah. Shobita Krishna Mataji.
Once again,
And then Suma Mataji.
Krishnamurti Prabhu, did that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, I will follow it. I able to understand this. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, and pranams. First of all, thank you so much, Mataji, for the wonderful class. So many realizations today I got, especially about like how we are trying to avoid so many miseries and everything. But somehow I realized I'm every time dragging into those miseries again and again. But Mataji, my question is, apart from this, one of the neophyte devotee, I should say, the devotees chanting and attending classes, everything, but then somehow she's not convinced. She asked the question that why are we targeting to go back home, back to Godhead? Why do we want to go to Golok when Krishna is coming here for us in every yuga? And so everything is, so he's coming now here to give us association. So why should I target to go back even? Fine, if you want to keep me here, it's okay now. So there I was confused, Mataji, how to like convince her.
Actually, in one sense, it's a very profound question, because see, Yukta Vairagya Prabhupada talks about, because she is neophyte, maybe she has not come across this. Our aim is, of course, it is very easy to say, but our aim is actually to always serve Krishna. Jivera Swarup hoy Krishna Nityadas, and the exalted position is that irrespective of where I am, heaven, hell, earth, wherever I am, Krishna, I want your seva. So in that sense, what she says is correct. Why should I aspire for going back? Okay, but the thing is, the temporary, this world is temporary, our body is temporary. It is going to die. Okay. And the process of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam, Bhagavad Gita itself says that this is a miserable place, Dukkhalaya Shashvatam. So there's no question of that I want to be here, is one thing. And the other thing is why we have to go back. This example Prabhupada gives, you can tell her the story that there was a rich man's son, and he went away from there, and there were four kinds of people who were trying to help him. The first one was, just asking him, wondering what happened. The second one, said, why don't you go back? The third one third person took him home to his house, not the his own house. The person who's helping to his house and fed him, and then gave him clean clothes and everything. And the fourth person is took him back to his father, to his home. So which is the best? Which was the best? Obviously, the fourth person. So we and this is not our home also. This is like our we are like fish out of water in this place. So no matter what we are trying to do, we want, even if we want to do devotional service, after one point of time, because of old age and disease, we will not be able to serve. If I'm sure that at any point of time I'm able to do, then I can stay here. Is few things you can tell her based on what is the maturity in bhakti to this person, because I don't know, you said she's neophyte, so some of these examples you can tell. The other aspect why Krishna is coming, here to tell us this is how it's like a trailer, this is how my home is. You don't suffer here, right? And to give that message, Krishna comes. Not to come here and say, stay here. Okay. So these few things based on, the circumstance or how much the devotee can understand, you can slowly tell her, her or him, I don't know, the devotee. Or if it needs some more time for the person to understand, because once chanting is happening and they're listening and reading, automatically the Lord, His Holiness Sachidananda Maharaj was saying, he takes a sweeper job. Krishna takes a sweeper job. He's sweeping our hearts away from all the anarthas. So the Lord will reveal to her also, to the devotee, the neophyte devotee also. So, because we cannot give, that is the one of the, that is what, the 10th, offense. Yeah. You should not preach to everybody. It does not mean not preach to everybody. We should not preach very high things, subtle things to new people. So, because there can be a rejection also. You can say, oh, you say one thing, you do one thing, and there can be rejection. So it has to be gradual, because you know the devotee, you see what you can convey. Hope that helps, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, because Mataji actually she is into Krishna consciousness for the last 2 years. Her husband Prabhuji is like very much convinced and interested, but she like for the reading and hearing purpose. Whenever I'm asking her, she's saying that Mataji, I don't have time. I have so many responsibilities with my daughter, taking her to extracurricular classes and tuitions and everything. So Prabhuji has time, so he can devote much more time, but it's very difficult for me to read or hear anything. So, and that is why, Mataji, I feel this is the root cause. She is struggling since 2 years, while Prabhuji is advancing very much now. But she is struggling in her basic concepts, and here she's actually hearing to n number of people outside Krishna consciousness also, to various like Premanand Maharaj and many other also. So she is into all those things and saying that, yeah, Mataji, everything you are saying is correct. But then other things are there which, of course, are there which are against the philosophies which we are teaching here. So I was so confused, Mataji, like, should I still
Where,
read?
Mataji, you are from which place?
Mataji, Bangalore itself.
Where are you connected with? Which temple?
Whitefield Temple, Mataji.
Yeah. You need to talk to some senior there, and
Yes.
then take suggestion, because this will not need, a general answer like in the class will probably not be of much help. Because you need to know more about the details of the situation the Mataji is in, and then accordingly they will kind of try to tell you how to, although it may look that you're going to allow her to do what she is to do, but actually, we give the medicine in different ways. So you please connect with some senior devotee there and then take a solution for this. I would suggest that. Okay?
Thank you so much, Mataji, for the help. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Suma Mataji, you can ask your question. Mataji, do you have time? We have one last
Yeah.
question. And then Padma Mataji. Mataji, if you have time, she
Hare
also wanted to ask.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Mataji, my doubt was that there is one of the purport that Vishnu Jwara. So the fiery condition becomes so acute that sometimes one remains in a coma. This means that the body is in such severe pain that one becomes unconscious and cannot feel the miseries taking place within the body. Mataji, does that mean that when we are, Jwara means that fever of Vishnu. Is that Mataji? What my understanding is wrong? I don't know how to
No, I
understand that.
didn't. How to see coma? Actually, lecture Prabhupada says if a person is so attached to the body, like you see, actually, in various stages of our lives, we keep. If we are maturing, as per our age. Okay, let me use this word as per our age because people usually don't accept their age. We may do a lot of things. We may dye our hair, we may do face lift and blah blah whatever. But the age is going, right? So if you see in the natural course of life, right, like as a teenager, then as a grihastha, then after children are growing up, we see what we were interested so much as a teenager or a young married couple. Then after a few years, there is an automatic physical and mental change, and some interests really become less. Like, I may have been very addicted to eating something. It says so, and then after a few years, you feel, okay, I like it, but it's not that kind of what to say. Intense desire that I have to eat it now, like how I was as a teenager or much younger. So this natural process is there. Actually, it's a natural process that our desires intense, if not the zero, at least the intensity reduce. But there are many instances when people are so attached to their body, to their desires, and they don't want to leave the body. That is when the person goes to coma, is what I've heard in lectures. So one aspect is the pain is so much and they cannot take it, so they go to coma. In coma, they don't know what is the pain they are going through. But they are going through that pain, the base is because they are so much attached to the body. Okay, so that Vishnu Jwara, in the sense, fever or a fever of what can I say? Fever of material attachment, bodily attachment. Okay, so that is the message that is given here through these shlokas, right? So if becomes so acute that sometimes one remains in coma, right? The pain is so high that one just faints. That the period of that they have fainted is on a longer period. So that is what is coma. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. A small realization, can I share, Mataji? Mataji,
Okay.
in all the purports, Prabhupada mentions that loving devotional service. Mataji, it's so difficult that just because of the fearful state of this leaving the body, if we get attached to, in desperate condition, if we call out for Krishna, that becomes very difficult for us to remember him at the time of death. So if we, that sambandha is so important, Mataji, to have a relationship with the Lord and do the sevas in a loving way. So that becomes easier at the time of leaving body. So this is what
See,
I
if
felt,
we
Mataji.
if we can understand the mercy aspect of Krishna, there is no doubt that we will fall in love with him. irrespective. See, he's acknowledging people who don't acknowledge him also. I'm quoting His Grace Chaitanya Charandas too. He says, Krishna acknowledges people who don't acknowledge him. He gives food, shelter, water, uh, even his protection also for people who blaspheme him. So actually, the love aspect overrides the fear aspect when you know how merciful Krishna is. Right? So when fear, that's what actually we should be fearful of Maya rather than Krishna. Um, that is what we should be fearful of. Definitely not fear of Krishna. And if we are so that complete surrendered, then why should there be fear of all this that we read? Completely surrender means what? Okay, he's the child, that small child, the mother, the father throws high up just to play with the child. The child for a moment never doubts whether they'll catch me or drop me down. So we have to be that child in Krishna's hand. Do we have that?
So,
Do we have that utter faith in Krishna? Is our
so nice,
question.
Mataji. It is all faith in Krishna, Mataji. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Going with plans of Krishna, somebody was saying. True. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I don't know whether this is a relevant question, but it just, this thought just came to my mind. When you're in a coma, Mataji, at that time also your consciousness is there, no? It's working, no? The subconscious mind, that's working. So if anybody comes and whispers into your ear, Hare Krishna, think of Krishna, will there be any response from that person?
Physically, if there is no response also, it is for the soul, na? It is for the subtle body. See, that physically we may not see the response. Or
But
there can be a response also. But it ultimately it has to reach the soul. It definitely goes to the soul.
So the soul can think of Krishna then.
Wow, the details, I don't know. I have not read anything in detail about that, or nor have I heard. But what I know is, like, you see, even all the Shraddha thing is done only for the subtle body, na? Where is the gross body? That means it is reaching the subtle body. So when these karmakandi things only are reaching the subtle body, why not Hare Krishna Mahamantra?
Yes.
Isn't it?
But even if you're at home, if you're sick and about to die, at least you can educate your home people, just to remind at least whisper, chant the mantra or even put the recording so that at least person can hear.
We can keep them educated, okay? Yeah. But ultimately, who will come and chant? That Krishna will take care.
Yeah, that's true. But we are trying our best, no, Mataji.
You are assuming that I will die at my home.
No, that we don't know. You can meet with an accident also and die. It
So,
can be anything, anyway.
So, don't spend your time and energy in thinking of all this. Invest your energy and time in thinking of Krishna.
Yeah, that is true.
That's it.
But just thought, Mataji, just thought. Supposing that time though you won't even, you're so much in pain, you don't even remember, no?
Yeah.
That you may not remember, may remember. Depends.
Yeah. We can keep our near and dear ones educated, then say, please keep Prabhupada's dhun, and if I'm able to eat, give me only prasadam, at least. That much we can educate them. Yes.
Yeah, because we don't know when that will come, no, anytime.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji, for your feedback.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, answering all our questions so patiently, and a wonderful class, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranams, Mataji. Can we do prayers and end the class, Mataji?
Yeah. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Gurudev.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Mataji,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Mataji, thank you.
Yeah. If you're all thanking me, please pray for Yeah, pray for me. Don't forget to
Yeah,
pray.
Yes,
sure,
Mataji, you
Mataji.
give
Hare
us
Krishna,
your
Mataji.
Ashirwad
Hare
also,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Krishna Samsarita.
I'll